everyone, and welcome back to Keeping Up with the Calligraphers. In today's episode, we are doing a hot takes with our usual Hannah Holt of TallyMark Calligraphy.
Hi.
And we have a special guest, Sylvia, again, which we're so excited to have you back. And funny story, like I only half told Sylvia about like what we're even talking about today.
I love
I was
it.
just like, here's this thing that we're doing. Also, like, I kind of want to promote blah, blah, blah. And she was like, great, I'll be there.
You know what I said? I was like, I'm just down to clown. So whatever we're going to talk about.
Here for the plot. That's it.
I love it. Just to give everyone context, it's like December 2025 while we're recording. If you haven't listened to a Hot Takes episode before, this is a fun mini-series that we're doing on the Keeping Up pod. The goal is to just start conversation, bring different perspectives to the table, do it in a loving way. And as always, there's no one way to live your life or run your business. We're just here to chat about thoughts, things that are happening in the zeitgeist, you know? And so today I want to introduce our topic. I won't bury the lead any longer.
Jump right in. Let's go.
Yeah. So I was listening to a different podcast and I'm going to shout it out. It's called The Psychology of Your 20s. And it's like neuroscience. I love listening. I'm Alex here. I love. Also, I don't think I introduced myself. This is Alex of Sciences of Our Lives. It's called The Psychology of Your 20s, and it's basically like a neuroscience, like little thing they talk about, like, or I guess neuropsychology. And they had someone on that had mentioned something about jealousy. And they said, you know what, like we all talk about comparison and competition and community and all that stuff. And they basically said, you can use your jealousy that you're feeling, the FOMO that you're feeling, which myself, I can say I feel it, FOMO, a lot, as like a motivator, as like a tool for yourself. And I kind of wanted to bring that to the forefront. And Hannah kind of mentioned this when we were chatting about it. She's like, yeah, this is like the perfect time to be talking about this because it's the end of the year. People are going to be posting their highlights. You're going to be sitting here like, oh my God, why not me? Blah, blah, blah. And then Hannah had also mentioned something about The Artist's Way, which I know is a book that Sylvia had done a little book club about. And so, yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that perspective to light. I think it's really important, to share. And I have my own thoughts about it, but I feel like I want to start with you guys first. Hannah, I feel like you had a reaction immediately when I said that to you.
Yeah, because
So
I think about this a lot. I think about jealousy and FOMO a lot, particularly because I read The Artist's Way and there's a whole section about this kind of thing. And so I think that you have like a similar kind of like feeling around it. So The Artist's Way, for those who are not aware, is a creative kind of workbook. The intention is to kind of go through it across 12 weeks. Each chapter is a week. It's got exercises and different things that you can do to kind of reflect on who you are as a person, as a creative, how to kind of like unblock your creativity. It was like really life-changing for me and opened up like a lot of blocks in my brain. Didn't realize things that I did have blocked in my brain were there. And it's just like really opened up and made me like kind of woo-woo about creativity stuff, which is like not typically who I am as a person, but like around this, I'm just like kind of weird about it. Anyway, so in the book, it talks about how jealousy is a mask for fear, which I just love this verbiage around it. It's using your jealousy as a way, as like a indicator of things that you might be afraid of. So saying that the things that you're jealous of is actually the things that you're afraid to tackle or take on or do in your life, and using that as an indicator of like, oh, wait, I'm jealous about this is something I need to be doing. This is something I need to be going after, something I need to be doing. The author uses the example of how she has no jealousy over poets and novelists. She's like, I don't have any jealousy. I think all of them are great. They're doing such wonderful work. Everything is amazing. She goes, but when it comes to women playwrights, I am the biggest critic. I am so critical. I am jealous. I am over the top because that is what I want to be doing. That is what I'm afraid to go after. It's what I'm afraid to work on and get better at because I want it and I want to get after it. So I like that kind of framework of like, it's a little convicting and like annoying. I don't want to be afraid of this. Like, I don't want to confront my fears and like, I don't want to be told that I'm afraid of something or that I'm, jealous because somebody has something that I've been trying to work at. But I think it's like a really good way, an indicator to kind of be like, okay, I need to put my things aside. This is something I want to work after. This is something I want. And it's not about them. Like, obviously, like any sort of jealousy is never about the other person. It's always about like what's going on inside.
Okay, so this is going to turn into a little bit of a therapy session, but I love it. Okay, so I would love your take, like if it's similar to Hannah, if you have more to expand on, because I know, and like I only briefly kind of saw that you were doing something on Instagram with the Artist Way. So also tell us about that.
Yeah. I think, I also read that about jealousy. And I think the most prominent reframing of jealousy in my mind, talk about like therapy, is that if you feel that sense of that jealousy, that like tinge of tightness in your chest, that like envy that you feel, especially when you're scrolling and you're like, why not me? It's a good reframe is thinking that you're probably thinking that that's something that's possible for you, right? Like, so what you said about like, I'm not jealous of poets. Like, I'm not jealous of musicians. I'm like pure admiration because there's like nothing musical about me. But when you see it like in the visual arts, like sometimes like that tinge is just like, why didn't I get that job? Why couldn't it be me? And the reframing that I've had that kind of like works in my mind is, it means it's possible. It means the work is out there, and it means like there's this sense of abundance that it could happen for you too. You just have to like make it happen. And it's a phrase like closed mouths don't get fed. Like you have to ask for it. You have to put yourself out there, right? So it means like you've got to start pitching yourself to your existing clients, putting out the work that you think, you could be doing. Because I think all of us have been in business for almost 10 years kind of realm. And I think we've been there since it was a very like in its infancy of an industry. And now that we've gotten to this place where there's established pathways that people can follow, people look to others and then look to copy what's happening, right? Like that annoyance that we feel with like, what tool is that? Someone just recently was like, what tool is that on 5 of my posts? Like same question. I was like, please stop asking.
That's brutal.
And I think because there's a path in place, like getting a little bit of a tangent here, everything starts to feel insular because you're like, okay, one person did lip glosses, and now everyone's doing lip glosses. One person did glasses, and it's not even like, somebody's thinking, okay, glassware. They're like, everyone's going to do coupe style martini glass. You know what I mean? Like, it's it's just like trends that kind of flow through everyone. And so that's my segue into Artist's Way. Like, there is a need for us to look outside of this like insular, like, I'm just going to copy what this other artist is doing and see, I just posted something. I did like little caviar spoons, and people were like, I can't wait for someone to hire me to do this. I can't wait to do this now next. And it's like, I know it's going to like flow through everyone. Like once something gets saved a lot of times, but I think the Artist's Way was like this way for me to step outside of what our industry is and what we're all doing and kind of bring that innovation in. One of my friends, Amanda Reed from the Luxury Calligraphy Retreat and Calligraphers of Color, she always says, look to other industries. She's like, the wedding industry, she's going to these conferences and stuff. There's things happening outside of us where it's not just like, what are surfaces that are engravable?
Right.
What can I do next with the chalk pen? And it's like, there's the Artist's Way was, similar to Hannah. I think it was like a little bit life-changing for me in that it got me into this place of, for me, what resonated was like this inner child work and look at like what in your life suppressed your creative urges, and what is it that you need to see that resonates with you, that is in this like endless, world of inspiration and what you can kind of take from. So a lot of it was about like filling the well. So more into the Artist's Way, there's like 2 exercises, and like they're like main ones that you kind of have to do every day. One was morning pages. Every day you open your eyes, grab your notebook, and write 3 full pages by hand about whatever.
Just like whatever. Stream of consciousness.
3 full pages.
I'd get the tiniest notebook. Are you kidding?
You can. There's no
like, and we're getting a 4x6 notebook.
Like really large too.
There's
But
no
you gotta fill them. And like a lot of the days it's like, you start off being like, okay, I'm starting this thing, and it's supposed to be a stream of consciousness. So first is like just dump everything. And then the second activity that you kind of have to regularly do is go on artist dates for 12 weeks. And so every single week, you got to figure out something to do. At first, it's easier, like, I'm going to finally go to that museum. And then you run out of museums because there's like, I don't know, 3 main ones. And you're like, hey, like, I started going to niche museums. I started going to like historical houses. They say you can go take a walk. You could do a nature walk. You could do a walk where you look for things that are blue. You can go to different neighborhoods. You could go to stores and whatever. But the stipulation is you do it alone because you're supposed to try and see like what resonates with you. So here's my like weird story that I teased to you, Alex.
Wait, okay, before you tell, wait, Should we put a pin in your weird story? Because I kind of want to go back. You made a lot of points. And both of you made a lot of points. And I just want to pause because, and also a classic, like, I want to save your weird story because I am obsessed. I'm just like, I can't wait for this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think there was a few things. Victim mindset was one that I think that was something that I remember also like shifting. I don't know, it was like my frontal lobe finally developed or something. Like when I was 27, I was like, oh, like this, we don't have to play victim to everything.
Things are not happening to me.
Yeah, things are not happening to me. Things are happening around me. You know, you can only control your mental health so much, blah, blah, blah. And you do have a choice in like, oh, like I can take action towards what I want to improve in my life, right? Like you're not getting, and we're going to talk about this in the, you know, under the circle of business, but like you're not getting the same clients that so-and-so is getting on Instagram that you're seeing, right? So it's like, what are you doing to get those clients? Are you trying to do the same lettering style? Are you trying to do the same like luxury vibe and palette? Are you trying to like bring that same energy that they bring to an event? Are you trying to be a leader? I just feel like people don't take time to dissect the differences between the people that they're seeing online, like the comparison, who they're comparing themselves to, and the gap between them and that person, for instance. And also, like, do you even want that thing, or is it ingrained in you to want what other people have, right?
Right.
So I'd love to just unpack that a little bit of like, what do we feel like the steps people can do are when they're feeling that way? Like you said, Sylvia, you were like, reach out to your existing clients and be like, oh, I saw these like cool place cards. Are you having an event where we can do cool place cards? Doesn't have to be the fucking same, but like those fucking lasagna place cards blew up and now every goddamn Italian place is doing these fucking place. I'm over it already. I'm like, I've seen this 20 times. I don't care that my client's seen it already. Like, I'm like, let's do literally anything else because
I love that. I was gonna say, I love kind of like where we're headed here of just kind of like jealousy is this indicator of like wanting something that you don't have, or that like it's possible for me to have this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people's reaction is like, oh, I want this thing, so I have to do what they're doing. And like, that's not the answer. Like the answer is to be, you know, what you were, the kind of the road you were going down, Syl, of like, I need to think about who I am as a creative, as an artist, as a business owner. And I need to take that to get the clients that I want to be working with, having the work that I want to be doing. So like, it's a lot of that self-reflection. And it's a lot of that, like, first of all, what do you want to be doing? Like, what about this is giving you jealousy? Is it working all the time? Is it just being booked? Is it working with specific clients? Is it doing specific work? Like that jealousy comes from like a lot of different places. Is it making the money? Is it, you know, it's having, you know, all of those kinds of pieces of jealousy, just they stem from different places. So just really thinking about like what that jealousy is stemming from, and then doing the work of like, how do we get there? So I think that's where we can come into how Artist Way kind of like helped us become an independent creative to get the work and the clients and the business that we want to be doing that aligns with us as business owners and artists. Of like, I can't get the work that I want to be doing if I'm just trying to find this other formula that somebody else is doing, but I'm not this somebody else. So the formula isn't going to work the same because I'm not this person. So they're not going to resonate with me on that. So finding who you are and what brings you joy and how you, you know, want to express your creativity and your vision is, I think, the best first step towards having that success, towards reaching those pieces of jealousy that you're, you know.
I think like where you're getting at, like I've had an opportunity to like mull over it in this way of like, what are your big goals in life, right? And I think I cannot remember like where this came from, but I remember this exercise where someone was saying like, think about what your big goal is in life or what you're trying to achieve. Just say it's a New Year's resolution, what you want this year, etc. Just say I want to make 5 figures every month, or I want to make 6 figures next year, or whatever. Whatever that goal is that you have, like just say I want a luxury bag, a car, a house, whatever. Think of that tactical thing, like the thing that you are physically chasing after. And then stop and think about how you want to feel when you get there. I would love to hear what you guys think of that, because I think that's like the missing piece of people thinking, I want a successful business, but they equate it to a financial number or a number of followers or a certain amount of engagement rather than what a successful business is, which is very likely like I make enough money to like
Buy
be
my thing.
happy, you know, and like survive in the city I'm in, right?
To order food to my house whenever I want, you know?
All the sushi I can ever order,
Yeah, no guilt at all. It's so hard. I feel like now I have to read this fucking book. I feel like I've gotten to all those things. It kind of feels like nothing. You're just like, and I did that. And I don't know if that's like a cultural thing where we just don't celebrate our wins in like a way that's like meaningful, or if that's like a me thing, or just that like it really isn't about a number. Like it's not concrete enough to actually like a 5-figure month, a 6-figure year, whatever. Like, yeah, great, check. Like amount of followers, check, amount of engagement, check. And it's like, okay. And now what? Because also you always move the goalpost too. Like we're always moving the goalpost. So it's almost like now you're going to be chasing this other thing. And like, will that bring you joy? I don't know.
It's a hedonic treadmill, right? So it's like the humans just kind of get used to what you have. And then like you don't celebrate your wins. And then you experience lifestyle creep and it gets bigger and bigger and whatever. It's really getting into the concept of enough. Like I think as people who kind of own our own fate in having our own businesses, like the concept of enough is like very hard to accomplish because now that, you know, you reach a point where you're like, I've sold out all my hours. I can't possibly work anymore. Everyone's constantly like, how do I scale? How do I hire more people? How do I become an agency myself? And it's like, was it not enough for you to be a successful artist? Or like, what was enough for you?
I'm snapping because be an agency. And I'm like, I don't want
that. Yeah.
And what you want is like very deeply personal.
Yeah.
If we're like looping back to like Hannah, the direction of like artist way and like what it is you want, like kind of digs into like the desires of, okay, if we strip away like what the world, what negative voices, what media and everything and everyone told you, like what do you as a person, like as that little, I think they call it inner artist in the book, what your inner artist wants.
Inner artist, baby
artist. And like inner artist is sweet. It's like, honestly, it's very like inner child because it's like before the world got to you, like what did you want?
What did you actually want?
Yeah. Like what did you want to be?
Yeah.
What was attractive to you so that you can, you know, once you do these exercises, the goal is to kind of be like, okay, what do you actually like? And like, why do you think, broad question, not to you guys, but like, why do you think you want a Hermes bag? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why do you want like, you know, a bigger place to live in? Why do you want a certain kind of car that says something about you? And stripping all that back, like what do you as a person want without external forces? Which is a complicated, big question for people who make art.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And especially like self-employed people. I was just going to say, like when I left my corporate job and it was freeing because it was like, oh my gosh, now there's no limit. There's no ceiling on how much I can make or what I can do. But now there's no limit and there's no ceiling of what I can do.
God damn it.
With those, do you just end up like keep chasing the same thing? Like just keep moving and moving and like more. When like, I don't want more. I have what I need and I live a good life and I'm happy. But I think it is sitting down and with those questions and like stripping everything away. I was just talking to a friend of mine about this. I'm just kind of like, I feel like I'm trying to do all of these things. And I'm just like, what is the point? Like, why am I doing this? And she's like, are you doing this because you want it or because of how it will look to other people? And it's like, I mean, I don't want to say it's because of how it looks to other people, but like, I think it is, you know, I think that like there is like some points in my life that it's just like, it looks impressive. It sounds impressive when you say certain things and people are like, oh, wow, you must be successful. And that feels good. But I'm not happy, you know, like,
you have to market yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so it's like, it's not like you can stop saying that because you do have to market yourself to be sellable and continue to get the work. So then that in itself is like this, like, you know, you want to be like, I have enough. I'm satisfied with myself and all of that. But
also need to keep this train going. You know what I mean? Like I do need to keep things moving so that I can pay for my bills.
Yeah. It's a marketing message. You have to brag about yourself. Otherwise, who else will? Yeah. But that's complicated to people maybe watching from the outside and thinking like, I want to accomplish those same things because then maybe I'll be as happy as you are or as successful as you are.
Oof, girl.
So I think that leads me to the second thing that you guys were talking about, which was, and I'm going to reframe it as, people need to like put their blinders on a little bit more with the following people in other industries. Follow photographers, follow muralists, follow embroidery artists, follow, I don't know, fucking anyone, follow like people in construction. I don't know.
I was going to say
like,
interior designers.
Yeah.
Hair stylists.
I love woodworking videos.
Woodworking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of, it goes back to like, we're all trying to kind of like replicate what we're seeing. And I think it's very normal. As like, I just want to say, like, when you're like a new artist and like a new business owner, you're like, it is very normal to like try to follow somebody's footsteps, I think.
Yes.
And be like, oh, they're doing that thing. They look successful doing that thing. I should do exactly what they're doing. Right? Like, that makes sense. And so I think like with all that aside, you know, there is a moment where you go, okay, like, no, I do actually have to like be original or like original in quotes, right? Like, because what is original? We can philosophize about that all day. But
individual.
Yeah, the individual. But yeah, I think it's like, put your fucking, like, mute calligraphers. It's okay. If they're your friends, like, you know, make sure once a week to check in on them, give them some love on social media if you feel like that. I think that more of us should be putting our blinders on so that we can give our brain the space to be an individual, to figure out what we do actually want so that we aren't comparing ourselves as much in that specific way and just replicating what we see.
I think like one tangible danger that I'm kind of feeling with like people just replicating is like, now that people are getting into, okay, engraving, it is kind of dangerous. Like it's a tool, it's machinery, pyrography and stuff. Like people are just seeing others burning on wood and then doing whatever wood surface clients provide. And I did like a very small amount of research and I was like, you can't just burn any kind of wood. A lot of them are like toxic, especially if they're finished with any kind of stain. Certain kind of woods you're not even supposed to do. They're supposed to be like raw only. So a lot of the time when clients are like, can you burn this or that? I'm like, actually, no. Like it's why I've gone the direction of like engraving wood at times. So like you could be poisoning yourself because you think every calligrapher is just burning on wood and they know the dangers of it. So we're reaching this like weird like materiality phase of like everyone's customizing every damn thing you can, where it's like you're possibly really hurting yourself. Like I met someone at the retreat who was saying like they were having some lung problems and stuff. And now they're really taking it seriously that they are always wearing a mask for engraving because you know what's bad for you? Plastic dust inhaling, gas dust inhaling, wood dust inhaling, right? Because if you really think about it, like, you know, when you're watching these carpentry videos, they're wearing like heavy duty dust masks.
Oh my God, that stresses me out. I'm always like, are you not afraid you're going to get wood in your eyes? Like,
right.
Or like metal shrapnel.
Oh my God.
Exactly. So like we're in this like weird place where it's like the replicating what others are doing is like, there's got to be some kind of like background to like how people are doing things. If you are seeing people like, you know, without masks, it's very likely just like photographers like take off the mask for this picture or whatever.
Yeah, I'll do it for content a lot.
Same.
Like, I'm just going to do this one. I think we need to develop something better than that freaking like alien looking shield thing. So we can talk to people.
How do we be safe and cute?
Yeah, I fully thought you were going to go the route of AI about the replicating thing though. So thanks for the surprise.
I just think like in terms of materials and stuff, like people see what's on the surface and I get way too many messages that are like, hey, I tried to do hot foil stamping and it didn't work. What am I doing wrong? And I'm like, here's the variables, the surface, the tool, the foil.
Literally everything.
How hard you're pressing.
You're trying.
Yeah. I would try something else. That's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's another thing too. I think it's so interesting with everything being on the internet. People somehow have become less resourceful to use the internet. Do you guys feel that? I'm like, have you tried this thing called Google?
They want the shortcut. Like, people actually don't like. I think it's like coming through in like language now too. People want the shortcut so much that they don't say like, what are you using? What are you wearing? Whatever. They say link to blah blah blah. Like they ask for a link,
right? As if you're like a bot that will like
all the way shortcut. They're like
link.
They don't want the name of it. They want the link to it.
It's wild. DM it to them right now.
Yeah.
Comment engrave to get the link right in your DMs.
Exactly.
I want to go back to something you also said was doing the artist dates, which I feel like That's the thing. I'm gonna lie. I'm most jealous of people with free time spending their time doing art shit that's like just for fucking fun and not for to make money. So like that's something I got to work on. We all know this.
Just implement it. You don't have to read the book. Just like 12 weeks, 12 artist days.
Yeah.
Like just do it. You know the activity now, but that's the pressure of it. It's like every week you got to do it.
Yeah. So okay. So going back to that, we have 12 weeks. Every week you go, you do something different. One of these weeks, Sylvia has a weird fucking story, and now we need to hear it.
Okay, so like 12 weeks is like, at first I was like, let me do some workshops and stuff. I think when I was doing it, I did like...
Love a workshop.
I did like a scent workshop, which is like fragrances, which is really fun. It's like, you know, you figure out what you like and don't like. You mix your own. I did... there's a shoe museum here. At a shoe museum. Love it. Because I
like
love
the history of shoes, the different types of shoes. Like
they have an archive of like hundreds of thousands of shoes. And they're like shoes that are historic, owned by famous people. And they do certain themes. Like last year they did a sneaker theme.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. Like they'll do like heels. Like there was a crime, shoes and crime kind of theme. Yeah. So I went to a shoe museum. Then I went to, there's a ceramics museum here. I went to, I don't know, like once you're, like I said before, once you go through all these museums, you're like, okay, what else can I do? So I did end up going to there's like historic houses that are, you know, maintained by like the city and stuff like that. And usually it's just like free to visit them. So I went to this old Victorian house. 1800s stuff. And then there's a guide that goes through and they were like, okay, well, check this out. There's like art on this wall. What do you guys think it's made out of? And we're like, I don't know. She's like, it's made out of like wires and hair. And so she points over to like the vanity because we're in this like little bedroom. And she's like, back then the ladies used to have these little like jars. And it was like a jar with a lid and the hole in it. And she's like, they would brush their hair and then just like put their hair in there. And then downstairs there was like a loom. So there was like Victorian hair art where they would loom the hair and make them into flowers. So sometimes like hair art in the Victorian times is like associated with like people who passed or like cutting a lock of it. But people that were, you know, ladies alive and well, collecting their own hair to just like make flowers and stuff. I was enamored. So like one of the things with the artist way is like, you're supposed to be like, what attracts your energy? And I was like, this is so fucking weird. I'm obsessed.
Are you looming your hair?
So I got hair. So I started collecting my hair. I haven't loomed it yet, but I do have a jar.
Yeah.
Can you post this video? Hold on one sec.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I want to see it. 100%.
Okay, Sylvia. Things I did not expect. This is
not on my bingo card. Obsessed.
Nope. Love it.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
I didn't expect the story, nor did I expect her to be like, wait, you want to see my jar of hair?
Okay. Like, I was like
this is
ready. Like,
oh my God, Syl, I love
so
it.
I have like, this is like the part that I was like collected and like put on some tape. I have this jar
so you like
of my hair.
What is that like ponytail?
Okay, I don't know if we should even, I'm like, this is like a stalker's like fucking wet dream. What?
There was someone on TikTok and then like
I got her hair.
She has been collecting her hair since 2020. So you should look up the TikTok girl because now she has like her own extensions basically. But like I've got like off of my brush, like this whole jar.
Yeah.
And then this is what I've been putting on pieces of tape. It's my hair.
So like when it comes out, you like put it on the tape?
Like
like a double-sided tape situation?
Because it takes a lot of time.
You've been like detangling your hair strands to make this ponytail.
You got to like brush it with a comb and then go strand by strand.
I love it.
And every
strand. So you literally made like a wig for yourself, like a future wig for yourself. Or future art, because you're going to loom this shit.
But now, you know what? There's like designers that make like little earrings and like ties.
She's like, imagine this is a tie.
Not the tie.
Sylvia! Tie.
Come on. Oh my God, Syl, I love it.
Full grown. So, I don't know. Like, it was now because I have this like hair, like my husband, that's like your witchy little activity when I'm like sorting my hair and keeping it and stuff. And I'm like,
okay, this is what you meant by witch when you said that. I was like, I'm pro witch.
She's like, I'm a witch now. I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's like kind of the one unexpected thing that happened to me was like, I don't know, like you look to see what attracts you, what your energy, like what is interesting to you, and then explore why or what it is about it. And I'm just like allowing myself to do this insane activity.
Start like walking towards it. Yeah.
But is it insane
just, like,
or have we made it
it?
insane? Because, like, if you think about it, it's a natural material.
It's been done before, right?
Using it as, like, reusing it is kind of, like, the most earthy thing you could do, right?
I don't think it's weird.
I mean,
yeah, what makes it weird?
I think it's whimsical.
If out of nowhere somebody,
I think it's like whimsy as fuck.
Yes, it's very weird,
and I love it. I don't know. And I just like, I love, this is like such a perfect example of like when you start to like really pay attention to that inner artist, the inner child of like when I get rid of everything and I like remove society's impressions of me, my industry's impressions of me, like my own, like whatever that I've like filters that I've put on, like what am I actually awed by? Like what gives me that sense of awe and like, can you believe this? Like, that's what we need to be chasing always. And sometimes it means creating, you know, collecting your hair and maybe, and making, you know, art out of it or something.
I think exploring those parts of your identity is like, it's not something you learn in school. It's not something like people really give you time for.
No.
So again, like when you're forced to 12 weeks, 12 dates and like do it on a timeline, you're kind of like, oh God, like I don't have, like, I was pushed to go to this random museum because I was like, there are no workshops right now. I can't be spending $100+ a week all the time on these workshops. Sometimes you want to think because like, who has like $1,200 to explore like
expensive,
you know,
all
of this. So you just kind of end up doing these things that are like, who knows where it's going to take you. And that level of exploration of your identity is very, I don't know, it's like just provides like a bit more depth and color to, you know, I just want to copy whatever this other person engraved. I'm going to make some hair art letters or something. I don't know.
Keep us posted.
Yeah. And I think there's such a difference too between like inspiration from something and then like straight up like doing exactly what you see. Because that made me think of like, you know, when you said making letters out of hair, I'm like, oh, Hom does food lettering. And I remember going to this beignet pop-up in LA and being like, oh my God, I have to use this powder. Like I have to make like letters, you know? And it was more of like an inspo thing instead of like, oh, I saw her using it, so then I'm going to use it. It was like, no, like I had my own original experience. I left my house, I saw friends, and I like supported this local business. And then also got to like fuck around with powder for however many hours it took me to do like that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think that's I think the difference, right? It's like the really reflecting, and I think that sounds like that's the main point of our episode is reflecting on the why, trying really to like dig deep, and also just shift some like your mindset. Like you have the power to fucking go be your best self and make the things that you want happen. I'm not saying there's not like privilege in going to do things and that there's not barriers in place for a lot of people. One artist day a week could be not feasible for someone. And like, if you do have that and you spend, you know, one less hour scrolling social media, like what could you do with that hour? And I think it's just like a shift into doing more of what you want to do and less of the things that feed that like comparison monster in your brain.
Yeah, I think it's a delicate balance of like art and creating and then trying to make money, the capitalism of it all.
Yeah.
And seeing what's around you and what's working and who's making money. But that's all to say that like, I don't know, sometimes like what you're seeing, it might not necessarily reflect how much money someone's making. You really don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
that's a whole other episode. I'm like, that's a whole other.
I was going to say, just like a blanket disclaimer of like what you see is not always what you think it is. And just to remember, you know, put your blinders on and go within, you know?
Yeah. And it's okay. And you don't have to announce it. And you also don't have to do it forever. You could do things temporarily. Like I know Amanda Reed, who you were talking about earlier, like, what does she do? Like she shuts off her Instagram like once a week or something, or like goes dark for 2 weeks and then comes back for a week or whatever it is. And your mental health's much better off. So I think there's no have to's. You don't have to be on social media all the time. You don't have to be following what everybody's doing. You don't have to be, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. I think like in terms of like exploring your creativity, like your creative existence, like what you like, the artist way is it's like somewhat controversial. Some people don't like it. Like, it goes a little bit into like spirituality. Like, there's a lot of disclaimers of like, hey, if you're not really into like her talking a lot about God and how that exists, there's like it's just like a bit dated in a few ways. So there's like a little bit of like, don't think too hard about it.
Okay, got it. Noted.
I think she even makes a note of, she's like, I'm going to use the word God because that's the language I have, but like put your own language in whatever that is.
Spirit, source.
That's nice. Acknowledging that other people might have different. Okay.
Yeah, but she's like, I gotta write a book, so I need a word.
I need a word.
So like, there's definitely like, it's definitely spiritual in nature, I would say, but not, I think, specifically towards like one spiritual thing, rather just like, I don't know, art is whimsy and spiritual and creativity, you know, like I think it is, you know, it's cool that way.
The other books that are like similar in like a lot of the principles are The Creative Act or The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. It's like kind of the artist way, but no activities and like a bit more for like men. And
so boring. Like what?
No,
it's just like a little bit like more like, it doesn't seem so woo woo and like in the present. I was
gonna say grounded, I think is maybe.
Yeah. Like, and I think it's like a lot of people use it as
more concrete, like less
there's
abstract
no activities.
in thinking.
Maybe no activities. It is just like excerpts. It's either like a small essay or like, you know, a little like epitaph, or, you know, it's kind of like a pick it up and read it as you go.
I literally say it's for men because it's like people use it as like house decor. You know, it's like one of those like, it's the Tom Ford book, you know?
It is. Good.
It is, yeah. And then like Big Magic kind of has like
I like Big Magic.
Yeah, me too.
Elizabeth Gilbert. Yeah. I do always recommend that one, especially for people starting out.
Yeah.
I'm always like, just read it. It'll help.
Yeah. I think it's just like all this stuff just like gives you language for like an experience, you know? It's just kind of like, I have this thing that I think I understand is going on, but I don't. It just kind of gives you language to kind of communicate it, or at least like process it a little bit better, I guess. Like, I don't know, being an artist is weird. And there's a lot of like
a huge need for it out there.
Yeah.
That's a great point. I think we need artists so much right now. We need you to be creating. We need you to be doing it in any which way possible. So I would say like this episode isn't like, let's put some blockades in front of you. It's like, we want you to be your best fucking self and to be free and to be expressive and creative. And this is one way that you can access that.
Yeah. I think a big thing is like, if we're artists and we work with brands, sometimes there's that fear that, you know, you've got to be presentable to a certain extent for brands to feel that palatability of you as a person and your art and all of that. But like in this world trending towards AI and how brands are really wanting to show that they're not going the AI direction, they're going in like the craftsmanship direction. They want to humanize, and humanizing is using real, flawed, weirdo artists. So like, I think there's something to it to, you know, do things that are unique.
I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was like Stefan Kunz. I don't remember. Which made what you said remind me of that. Of like, people want to see a brushstroke. People want to see it. The vinyl stuff, like, you know, that's on buildings or whatever, the printed stuff. You don't feel from it. People feel that brushstroke. If your letters aren't like perfect, or like your brushstrokes aren't perfect, like it's like people love it. It brings humanness to it. I was at a tech conference like a couple weeks ago, and I literally, I think I broke everybody's brain being an artist there, because the amount of people that were like, what program are you using? And I was like,
my hands.
My literal hands. I was like, please go touch grass.
Either of you experience this where someone's standing in front of you and you're like, what would you like written on this? And they're like, let me check ChatGPT.
5 bazillion times. Yeah.
Too many to count. It's the most depressing thing for Mother's Day, Valentine's Day. What do I want to say to the person that means something?
No, and then they end up coming up with the most basic shit you've ever heard of.
I know. So I've started to be like, I think you can do it. Like, I think you can think of something.
You can do it. Oh, no, I'm always encouraging it that way.
It's a great tool times. We don't need to ask it for everything. We can just like take a moment. We could take a moment. It's okay. Yeah. I think tech is a great tool. Let's try to use our brains and our hands and make things, and That, I think, is the moral of the story here.
Yeah.
Is like, it's okay to be human.
Not only is it okay, but it's like important and meaningful.
Yes.
I know, that's it. Mic drop.
That's it. That's it.
That's all it is.
All right. Well, Hannah, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me, Hannah, at TallyMark Studio.
Amazing. Sylvia, where can we find you?
You can find me, Sylvia, at Via Calligraphy.
Okay. And then Alex at Science of Our Lives. And this podcast at Keeping Up with the Calligs on Instagram, or find us on any podcast platform. If you're listening to this, I'm pretty sure you're probably on one already. And this is a great little hot take episode, how you can kind of reframe your jealousy, reframe your competitive mindset, do some shifting. I hope we left you, I mean, I know we left you with lots of good nuggets of things that you can do that are actionable, that will hopefully shift your mindset a little bit about things. And as always, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for keeping up, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.